Meet Sarah, a woman who gives everything for her job as a teacher. Every day, she steps into the classroom with a smile, ready to shape the minds of her students. She loves teaching, and her passion for her work is clear. She's always there for her students, offering extra help and support when needed. Sarah believes that being a teacher isn't just about education, it's about making a difference in the lives of the kids she teaches. But despite her dedication, Sarah's life outside the classroom isn't as bright. Her financial situation is dire. Even though she works hard and does everything she can, she's barely making ends meet. Rent is a constant worry. There's always more month than money, and the stress is growing. But Sarah doesn't show it. She hides her struggles behind her smile, not wanting to let anyone see the weight she's carrying. It's becoming harder to keep it together, but she keeps going. After all, her students need her. Each morning, Sarah wakes up early. She gets ready for another busy day of teaching. Her students depend on her, and she's always there for them. But as soon as she steps out the door, the reality of her situation hits her again. Her paycheck is barely enough to cover the rent, let alone anything else. She knows she'll be struggling to make ends meet by the end of the month. She worries about what will happen when the rent is due. How will she pay it this time? She's already missed a few payments, and she's received several reminders from her landlord. The fear of being evicted is always in the back of her mind, but she pushes those thoughts away. Sarah has always been someone who tries to stay positive, but the pressure is starting to weigh her down. At school, she tries her best to focus on her students. But inside, her mind is racing. How can she make it through another month? Her energy is low. The constant stress is taking its toll. She's tired all the time, and no matter how hard she works, it feels like nothing is changing. She's losing sleep over it, and it's starting to show. One day, she comes home to find an eviction notice on her door. Her heart sinks. It's her worst fear. The notice demands payment in full or she'll have to leave. Sarah feels like she's drowning. She doesn't know what to do. But she can't give up now. She needs to find a way out, for herself and for her students. Sarah knew she couldn't handle this on her own anymore. The weight of her financial troubles was too much. She had been trying to stay strong, but now it felt impossible. She realized that asking for help wasn't a sign of weakness, it was her only option. But who could she turn to? She thought about reaching out to friends or family, but they were dealing with their own struggles. Then one day, she heard about a local community program. It offered support to people who were going through tough times, just like her. Sarah wasn't sure if it could help her, but she had to try. She attended a meeting, hoping it might offer a glimmer of hope. At the meeting, Sarah met Judge Thompson. He was a man with years of experience in the legal system, and he had seen many people in situations like hers. But something about Sarah caught his attention. Maybe it was her honesty, or the way she spoke about her passion for teaching. Whatever it was, Judge Thompson listened to her story with genuine compassion. After hearing about her struggles, he offered to help. But what he suggested was beyond anything Sarah had expected. He didn't just offer financial assistance. Instead, he made an unexpected proposal, one that could change everything. Judge Thompson had seen his fair share of difficult cases over the years. He had helped many people, but something about Sarah's story stuck with him. She wasn't just a teacher who was struggling. She was someone who was truly dedicated to her students, trying her best even when the odds were stacked against her. After listening to Sarah's situation, Judge Thompson didn't just offer a handout. Instead, he offered her a chance, an opportunity to turn things around. "I know what it's like to feel like you're drowning," he said, "but I believe you have the strength to get through this, and I want to help you do it." He proposed a plan that was completely unexpected. Rather than just giving her money to cover her rent, Judge Thompson suggested something more long-term. He offered Sarah a loan that would cover her rent and living expenses for the next few months. The catch? She would need to commit to learning how to better manage her finances. He suggested that Sarah attend financial literacy workshops, where she could learn the tools to take control of her money and avoid falling into this cycle again. At first, Sarah was shocked. She had never expected someone, especially a judge, to offer such a personal, supportive solution. She didn't know how to respond. On one hand, she was relieved that someone was offering a way out, but on the other, she felt unsure. Could she really manage her finances better? Would this plan actually work? Judge Thompson reassured her. "This is your chance, Sarah. I know you can do it, and I'll be here to guide you through it." Though overwhelmed, Sarah knew she had no other option. With no other choices left, she accepted his offer. It was a lifeline, and she couldn't afford to let it slip away. With Judge Thompson's support, Sarah's journey began. At first it felt overwhelming. She had so many things to learn: how to budget, how to manage debt, how to make sure she never got back into this situation again. But slowly, she started to see small changes. She attended the financial workshops, where she learned about setting up a budget, paying off debt, and saving money for the future. The concepts seemed simple at first, but putting them into practice was a different story. Sarah had never really thought about her finances in such a detailed way. It had always been just about getting by. Now she was learning how to plan ahead and make her money work for her. Over time, the workshops began to pay off. She started budgeting more carefully, cutting unnecessary expenses, and finding ways to stretch her paycheck further. Sarah felt more in control. The constant fear of being behind on bills started to fade. She was no longer living paycheck to paycheck, and that sense of relief was worth all the effort. But the change wasn't just financial. As Sarah focused on her finances, she also started to take better care of herself. The stress of constantly worrying about money had drained her energy, leaving her exhausted and overwhelmed. But with a clearer plan, she found herself with more energy. She started sleeping better and felt more present in her day-to-day life. Her students noticed the difference too. The once tired, stressed teacher had become more engaged, more focused, and more passionate about her lessons. Sarah realized that when she was less worried about her financial struggles, she could give more to her students. They started to perform better, inspired by her new energy and enthusiasm. Judge Thompson continued to check in with her regularly. He made sure she had the support she needed, offering guidance when things felt tough. Sarah felt grateful, knowing that without his help, she might not have found the strength to turn things around. It wasn't easy, but with each step, she got closer to the life she had always dreamed of. One where she could not only survive, but thrive. Months passed, and Sarah's life began to change in ways she never imagined. With Judge Thompson's help, she had slowly rebuilt her financial life. She had paid off her rent, gotten her bills under control, and even started to save a little money each month. For the first time in a long time, she felt secure. Sarah's confidence grew. She no longer felt the constant anxiety that had once been a part of every day. She had developed a better understanding of her finances and knew how to make smarter decisions. The financial literacy workshops had taught her more than just how to manage money. They had given her the tools to take charge of her future. She started seeing changes in every area of her life. Sarah wasn't just surviving anymore, she was thriving. Her energy levels were up. She felt healthier and more focused. She started to look forward to her days, both at work and outside of it. The heavy weight of stress that had once clouded her thoughts was now replaced with a sense of possibility. Her work as a teacher also improved. With the pressure of financial uncertainty lifted, Sarah was able to be more present for her students. She had the energy to stay after class and help the students who needed it most. Her teaching became more effective, and her students were noticing the difference. They were more engaged and motivated, inspired by her renewed passion. As Sarah's financial situation improved, so did her sense of self-worth. She wasn't just a teacher anymore. She was someone who had fought through adversity and come out stronger on the other side. The progress she had made was incredible, and it filled her with a deep sense of pride. Judge Thompson, too, was proud of her. He had checked in on her often, offering advice and support when needed. He watched with satisfaction as Sarah transformed, knowing that he had been a part of her journey. He never expected her to turn things around so quickly, but he had always believed she had it in her. For Sarah, this wasn't just about paying off bills or managing finances. It was about rediscovering her own strength and resilience. She had learned to trust herself again. She knew that no matter what life threw at her in the future, she could handle it. Sarah's life had changed in ways she never imagined. She was no longer living in fear of eviction or drowning in debt. Thanks to Judge Thompson's help, she had built a foundation of stability. She had learned the skills she needed to manage her finances, and more importantly, she had learned to believe in herself again. She had built up her savings and was now able to live comfortably. The constant worry about rent and bills no longer hung over her. Sarah had a new sense of confidence. She had a future she could plan for, not just react to. Her work as a teacher was more fulfilling than ever. She was giving her students everything she had, and they were thriving because of it. The energy she had gained from no longer worrying about money allowed her to focus on what mattered most: teaching and shaping young minds. Sarah felt truly at peace with her work. She remained in touch with Judge Thompson, still grateful for the way he had helped her when she had nowhere else to turn. His support had been the turning point she needed. Without him, she wasn't sure where she would be today. For Sarah, this wasn't just the end of one chapter, it was the beginning of a new one. A chapter where she could live without fear, where she could continue to grow and help others. She knew there would be challenges ahead, but now she was ready to face them head on. Her life had transformed from one of struggle to one of hope. And it all started with a single act of kindness.